ABC News investigative reporter Catherine Faulders joins me now live from Capitol Hill, along with ABC News political director Rick Klein. Good morning to you both. Catherine, I'm going to start with you. Sources tell ABC News the committee is preparing to urge the Department of Justice to prosecute Trump for obstruction of an official proceeding and conspiracy to defraud the U.S. They also say a criminal charge of insurrection is under discussion. So what can we expect?
So in this meeting today, each member of the committee will give a closing argument in a way. They're all expected to speak. And then at the end of this, they are expected to take a vote to adopt the final report, but also to include these criminal referrals that they're planning to refer to the Department of Justice. We are expecting one of those to be for former President Trump and those charges that John Carl laid out in his piece here, and then potentially other allies and aides of the former president. You've heard throughout these hearings, multiple hearings, that those close to the former president, whether it be his lawyer, former lawyer Rudy Giuliani, Mark Meadows, the former chief of staff, all of these other election lawyers who were telling Trump that he could overturn the election, they have been mentioned multiple times. You could see some referrals for them as well. Now, another topic of discussion among the committee behind closed doors has been what to do about those members who defied those subpoenas, one including the leader, GOP leader Kevin McCarthy. We're expecting some sort of referral for them. We believe that will be to the Congressional Ethics Committee. Again, that's symbolic in the way that the Republican Congress will take over, and they probably won't take this up, but they are significant in that sense. And look, the Department of Justice has been asking for the committee's transcripts for months. They've wanted their evidence. They've wanted all of their transcripts from these thousands of witnesses. We're expecting to see those later in the week.
Yeah, and to your point, Rick, the committee's investigation has taken the better part of 2 years, but now Republicans are set to take control of the House. So how much of an impact do you think these hearings have made on American politics?
It's fascinating because you can argue it both ways. You can say, look, people knew the basic facts on this. It hasn't really measurably changed public opinion. Then again, I think you can look at the midterm results last month and see how many election deniers were roundly rejected in their bids and recognize that maybe it did seep into the public consciousness how horrific the events of January 6th were. And to your point, look, this is the closing act from this congressional committee. It is not the final word, though. We know because the Justice Department has been actively investigating. There are investigations in Georgia, in New York, elsewhere around Trump, around his actions, around some of the individuals that were part of this. This will continue even though this is the end of this. And I do think the legacy of this committee, particularly those televised hearings, had just an enormous impact in public understanding of this. Even if it didn't change everything with regard to Trump's approval rating or change the political equation outright, I do think that these hearings have been very significant, among the most significant congressional hearings that I can recall.
For sure. Catherine, Congress, of course, doesn't have the power to press criminal charges. That will be up to the Justice Department. But how much weight would these referrals carry? And then what would the next steps be if it were to come to pass?
Well, look, I think that referrals are significant in the sense that the committee, who has been investigating this for nearly 2 years, believes that Trump should be convicted on a number of crimes here. But the Department of Justice doesn't necessarily have to take these up. As Rick mentioned, they have been conducting their own parallel investigation into this. A lot of the witnesses cross over, but they do want to see that evidence. So even though the committee will expire here on December 31st, this will live on. Their evidence, I'm sure, will be used by prosecutors as they attempt to wrap up some of these investigations, as they continue to investigate, whether it be the former president or his close allies. So at least that's what we can expect here moving forward, that we will still be hearing about this work product and about these witnesses who talked to the committee over the course of 2 years.
And Rick, former President Trump has, of course, criticized the committee, calling it a partisan witch hunt, but he has not offered much in the way of specific denials to their allegations. Republicans have, by and large, defended Trump. So what kind of reaction would you expect to any potential criminal referrals?
I think the idea of this committee making criminal referrals at the end opens it up to more charges around politicization. We know the Department of Justice is investigating. We know, as Catherine said, that they want this material that the committee has compiled. They would get it potentially regardless of whether there's an actual referral. It's not like the Justice Department, Merrick Garland, or the special prosecutor here, the special counsel, needs to hear from Congress. It's putting the thumb on the scale a bit in a way that I think is risky for this committee. But I also know there's been fierce internal debate as to whether this is the right call. In their minds, in the minds of the majority of the committee members, the conduct was so abhorrent, the conduct was so obviously, to their mind, prosecutable that they felt like a criminal referral is necessary. But I think the response is going to be, look at the precedent you're setting in recommending these kind of prosecutions and recommending ethics investigations. You're putting people on notice about a new kind of way of handling Congress and the way that it handles big investigations like this.
Rick Klein, Catherine Faulders, thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.